Yes, you can make tshuva for sins that are on purpose. You can make tshuva for sins that are not on purpose. You can make tshuva. Yes. So the thing is, though, is that it's tshuva is a four-step process. The first step of tshuva is to stop sinning. So the commitment to stop sinning usually should already be before Yom Kippur. And but if you haven't stopped sinning, the commitment to stop sinning also could be on Yom Kippur itself. That from now on, I'm not going to drive on Shabbat. From now on, I'm not going to go with girls anymore until I'm married, and so on and so forth. It should be done beforehand, but even if it's not, a person can still do tshuva on Yom Kippur. But that's the first step. First step is stopping. Second step is to make a fence, meaning put a border for yourself to make sure that you do not expose yourself to the things that entice you to sin. So, for example, if a person is having a tough time watching his eyes, and he knows that every time he goes to a certain neighborhood, every time he goes to Lincoln Boulevard, he looks at anything that moves, so he makes a new rule for himself. What's the rule? From now on, I'm never going to Lincoln Boulevard. That's it. That's the rule. Why? Because I know that if I'm going to go to Lincoln Boulevard, I'm going to go to Fifth Avenue, or if I'm going to go to all these different places, for sure I'm going to sin. So my rule is to make my tshuva seriously. It's not just stop the act, but not even expose myself to anything that will entice me, will trigger me to want to sin. That's the second step. The third step is to regret it. What does it mean, regret it? Regret it means that you've learned enough about the sin and distance yourself enough from the sin to understand the magnitude of the sin. That takes some time. Regret, logically, we think it should be the first step. That's why I'm doing tshuva, but it's not. It's the third step. And the reason why is because we don't really understand the magnitude of the sin until we've distanced ourselves from the sin. You don't understand that we are part of the stench until we leave the garbage for a while. If somebody works in a public bathroom, they could even eat a sandwich inside the public bathroom because they don't smell anymore. But once they leave the public bathroom for a while, they left for a few hours or even for a day, and they come back the next day, the first second, they smell it like everybody else. Why? Because they were away for it for a while. So meaning, we have to be away from the sin for a while in order to understand the magnitude of the damage, in order to the magnitude of the smell, the stench that we created spiritually in the world. So that's why the third step is regret, because you can't regret something that you don't really know the magnitude of it. And once a person has reached that third level, Hashem gives them a test. What's a test? He gives them a test of that sin again. So if let's say that sin is, let's say, looking at something immodest, Hashem sends something immodest his way. If he has the opportunity to sin again and he doesn't, then Hashem signs off, he's a Baal Tshuva. His sin is erased. He has to go through that whole process where Hashem has to testify, he's a Baal Tshuva. I gave him the opportunity to sin, he didn't sin, but that's because he did the first three steps. He really, in his heart, he's a Baal Tshuva. Now what happens if, after a while of him being a Baal Tshuva, he falls again, starts over, but the old sin is still erased. The old sin is still erased, it's just this is a new sin all of a sudden. And he has to do the whole process again. But nonetheless, he was a Baal Tshuva once he arrived at that. So, Yom Kippur is a time for us to take advantage because that's a time that Hashem is deciding how much more time He's going to give us to do Tshuva, how much more time He's going to give us to get closer to Him, how much He's going to help us, how much He's not going to help us, and so on and so forth. So Yom Kippur is a very critical day for Hashem to decide in essence, really, how much more he's looking to invest into us. Many times you see that people have major sufferings right before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. That's actually because Hashem is trying to clean them up of their sins. So by the time they arrive to Him in Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, they're in essence already partially Baalei Tshuva. They already paid for part of their sins. But sometimes you see, like my cousin, who was 23 years old and died on the second day of Rosh Hashanah. Fell off a scooter. That's it. He had a little scooter. He slipped, he fell on his head. Went to the hospital. They checked him in the hospital and said, we did the scans, everything is good, go home. Same day, a few hours later. He goes home, says, you know what, I'm tired, I'm going to go relax. He went to sleep, never woke up. Hashem Melchem. Second day of Rosh Hashanah. Meaning, Hashem said, no more. Sometimes you see somebody 2 months after Rosh Hashanah. Sometimes 2 months before Rosh Hashanah. Point being is that Rosh Hashanah is judgment day for the entire creation. Yom Kippur is an appeal. An appeal of what happened in Rosh Hashanah. Meaning, if in case we did not get favorable judgment on Rosh Hashanah, we have another chance to increase and improve our case. Improve our file. So this is a time to take tshuva very, very seriously.